Let's go, everybody. It's day 2 and we're gonna bring it to you. Welcome to the Energy Detox and Reboot event. I'm Tristan.
And I'm Sabrina, and by the end of day 2, today's session, you're gonna feel less tension, more mobility, less pain, more flexible, probably happier, and less issues in your tissues.
Welcome, everybody. We see you piping in hot on YouTube and on Facebook. Say hi. Where are you tuning in from in the world? Come on over here, young lady.
And I want to say
what is going
thank
on.
Thank you so much, everyone, for your participation in the live chat yesterday, and then for all the emails that you sent and more Facebook comments on how much you're enjoying this event, what you're experiencing, what's opening up, what's moving more, what's tingling. We really love getting all those messages from you.
We're so fired up.
Yeah.
We are so pumped up. We have been diving into the messages, reading, replying, just really trying to be in tune with the energy of this event. It's always different. Different people show up. There are thousands and thousands of people registered for this. We're so grateful that you're all here.
And a lot of people are registering like in the last hour. So I just want to make sure you know it's fine to do today, day 2, without previously doing day 1, but you'll have the replay from day 1, so go back and watch that, because yesterday we really focused on the fundamentals. Tell them what that means.
Oh
Justin.
boy, we did the Qigong fundamentals: how to stand, how to come back to center, how to open up the body, the fascia, the lymphatic system with tapping and bouncing and squeezing, all these different techniques that are like the preliminaries to get through the body tissue so we can go into the energy pathways today.
And you met SpongeBob, because
That's right.
Also today we're going to move into restoring ageless mobility. It's going to be very physical, not physically different, but you're going to feel big shifts in your joints, especially your neck, your shoulders, your back, your hips, your knees. And then after we finish the ageless mobility, we're going to move more into the healing, flowing Qigong. And this is really interesting. Do you remember yesterday we said that this 5-day event is modeled after our open house that we would have at our dance studios, our fitness studios, and our martial arts studios here in Austin, where people would come in and they would try classes and then see what they loved and then join us for ongoing classes, because we have 4 live classes a week in our ongoing, we call it a Life Force Mastery Dojo, and 2 of the classes are Qigong classes that are sort of a combination of what you did yesterday with everything you're going to do today. So you're really going to get to see what the energy trifecta flowing Qigong classes are like.
Yes, and we have energy fitness. This is our fitness queen, so she teaches sculpting techniques, and together we do fitness fusion, and you get to experience that on day 5. So there's a lot coming. We've got this beautiful map over here. I know you can't see all of it. It's a little bit cut off, but the map encompasses the entire energy system. Think of this as...
That's day 4.
We're going to dive into it on day 4. Satori is an energy method. Think of it as an energy system that helps to unblock the life force energy that we all have access to, but unfortunately, throughout life, things happen that deplete our chi tank, our energy tank, or our energy battery. And Qigong energy work is how we replenish and reboost your energy so that your body can heal, so that your mind can relax, so that your emotions can come back online, and ultimately your heart can open up and you feel a lot of joy and a lot of satisfaction out of life because your energy is flowing in the right way.
I like that new word you just said.
Which new word?
Reboost.
Reboost?
You said reboot.
Did I say a
like
reboost?
That. You said a reboot.
A reboot and a reboost. There you go.
Really
I make up words all the time.
So we touched on yesterday as well about why we use the chat and why we ask you to write in the chat what you're feeling. And there's multiple reasons, but one of the reasons is that when you've had something that's been kind of hurting or aching or going on for a while,
Chronic.
we tend to start doubting and we lose faith, and we're like, you know what, maybe this is just the way it is. And so when someone else writes in the chat, like yesterday, 5 people wrote in the chat, when I first came to a detox event, I could not move my frozen shoulder, and now I have complete mobility. Right, so someone else who was here with the stuck shoulder, which they were, said, well, this helps. And yes. So now they have hope, and now they have enthusiasm, and now they're paying attention more because they know it's possible. Yes. So thank you for doing that. And also, it's really good to write something, because when you write it, you're declaring it. You're declaring what it is. So while I read a couple of things that people sent us, if you want to declare in the chat, how are you feeling today after just day one? As a declaration, as an affirmation, as like,
confirmation.
A confirmation.
This is what it is. By the way, when we're waving over here, it's because we have this thread that shows all your, well, depending on your picture or your profile, we can see you coming in. And we know a lot of you, and there's a lot of you that we don't know. But we're just waving because we want you to know that we can see you. We can't read all the fine print of your chat, but we will come over to the computer in a little while and be able to connect with you deeper in that way.
So these are just a couple of emails that came in this morning that I really enjoyed. This one's great. All I said was, oh my God, I can't believe what's going on with me. This year's detox event is God's gift to me, an answer to my prayers too. This is helping my overall health and well-being, and yesterday's session was already proof to that. That was Betty Ann.
Betty Ann.
And Mercedes said, I joined this event because I was looking to get more energy because I feel like my energy level is a 0.
Get that.
And after day 1, last night I slept well and I had a pain in my ankle that it's been gone ever since I woke up.
Energy works in mysterious ways.
And there were several people yesterday in the chat talking about arthritis and inflammation, so I wanted to read this one from Ellen. My inflammation was less after day 1. My doctor had recommended Qigong for my arthritis, and I had read about it in AARP magazine. So I'm really excited to be here and be benefiting already. And
Amazing.
then this one is from one of our students who came to us and actually went through now our certification program. And she said, I had life-stopping pain for 13 years from head to toe from fibromyalgia, chemotherapy, and surgeries. And Satori Qigong has me functioning stronger than ever before with less pain. It has been miraculous, life-changing, and life-giving for me. So I just want to celebrate someone who had 13 years of pain and who put in the effort and put in the time to actually go through one of our certification programs so that she can share it with more people.
I would like to echo that we pray that what we teach and how we teach may be received in a way that can turn into things like that. Mm-hmm. We visualize all of you as best we can being together as part of a whole that's healing, that's becoming strong,
yes,
that's feeling connected and supported. This for us is a life mission, so that's our intention, is to pay this energy work forward so that we can have results like that. So thank you. When you share them, it touches our heart and we know we're on the right path.
And there's no accident that you are here with this particular group of people with us at this particular time. You know, the divine orchestrates things so perfectly. And our prayer, not our prayer for you, but our prayer for us, is that we may give as much energy as I can and that it can be received and more people can heal. And when more people are feeling good, more people do good things.
Yes.
And there's more good
It's a
people
ripple.
taking care of other good people who need help.
Amen. Amen. Can I get an amen on a
Wednesday. It took me a while.
It took us a minute. We're all scrambled. It's been very busy over here at
Yeah.
Satori Central. Okay, so today we have some awesome training in store for you. We're going to be all getting up and getting moving in just a moment. Before we do, I want to remind you to hydrate your body, and you should do that now because we're talking about the connective
You hear
tissue.
that, Bob and Robert?
Come on, Bob and Robert. We're going to show you Bob and Robert in a moment. It's a little demo we did yesterday. We're going to see how they're doing in the water of life. So hydrate now so that your body has water inside ready to absorb into your connective tissue known as your fascia. We're going to be working with that a little bit. We're going to touch on the moves from yesterday, but don't worry. Like Sabrina said, if you didn't attend day 1, you still have the replay for a short amount of time. We're sending out replays for that. I'm going to build on that today, and then there's new techniques for Ageless Mobility and pulling the chi inside the body into the energy pathways.
And if you're like, I want to keep this training forever, we will take all 5 days of the training and have it professionally edited, and it will be turned into a program that we sell valued at $297, and you'll learn more about that later.
Okay,
Do you wanna
fantastic. Let's
come
do
forward?
it. Yeah.
Are you coming too?
I'm coming with you. Just for a moment. I've got a quick little something I want to show everybody. Okay. So remember to hydrate. You don't have to drink a lot, but just a little. Now yesterday we had a demonstration Could we have a fresh sponge just to do the demo to start?
Fresh sponge.
Whoa, it's a poppin' sponge. Dancing sponge. This is an organic sponge from the ocean, not a fabricated one. So it's got real organic material.
Well, it's from the hardware store.
Okay, well, it comes from the ocean. Now, this is a dried up sponge that's had no water for a very long time. So it's very brittle. It's got kind of crackly sound to it. And this is what happens to our internal tissue below the skin. You have 3 layers of skin tissue. You have the epidermis at the top, you have the dermis, and then you have the hypodermis underneath. And right underneath that tissue is your fascia, connective tissue. It's called superficial fascia. And then it innervates and moves in through, it's like bubble wrap.
Which looks like
sort of.
bubble wrap. Imagine your
Sort of.
whole body is surrounded in spandex
Yes.
and Spanx. And to me, the
Holds
little
everything together.
bubbles in the bubble wrap remind me of where water can be absorbed and held.
Now, fascia, if you were to see images of fascia, it's very, when it's wet, when it's moist, when it's got hydration, it's gelatinous. And it slides and it glides and it creates this feeling of mobility in the body. Now, when it's dried up and dehydrated, it can get brittle, it can crack, it can also stick together and causes adhesions, which pull our muscles and bones out of place. Also, this tissue that runs through the entire body, it's around your organs. I mentioned muscles, it's around your bones, tendons, ligaments, everywhere. It's a secondary nervous system. It has the ability to communicate information through the body into the brain. And so if the fascia is off, the body is off. And so we see sometimes shoulders jacked up or hips out of place or just like some pain in a certain area, or the fascia is tugging on an organ. It's affecting an energy pathway. And it causes a host of problems inside the body. So when you hydrate it, move it, twist it, squeeze it, lengthen it, which we're going to do more of that today, and circulate the tissue, the energy flows and the tissue comes back to life. So here's what we did yesterday. We had 2 sponges. This is Robert, and then inside, if you can take out Sponge Bob, he did Qigong yesterday, and he got all up in it.
He squeezed.
He bounced, he squeezed,
And because
he shaked.
he squeezed when he got in the water, he
Quickly absorbed it. At first, he was dry, like this guy here. Grab him. He looked like that, and put him in the water, for those who weren't here. Yeah, he just floated on the top, right? So he needed those techniques.
You can see he just floated on the top all
This
night.
guy only floated halfway
Yeah.
because he didn't do his Qigong and he didn't stay in the water very long. So there you go. That's our analogy of why you want to do some of the bouncing, squeezing, lengthening, twisting movements and getting hydration into that tissue. Okay. Also, water is a conductor of energy. So the more hydrated you are, the better off your whole system is going to be. Coolio? Okay. Awesome. Now, this is just a quick something I wanted to show you.
While you're pulling that up, I just want to say, and we talked about this in my morning class in the Life Force Dojo on Wednesday mornings. I do something that helps people increase bone density, muscle mass, and work on balance. I love it. It's called Satori Sculpt. And we were talking about that oftentimes we can have shame if a body part isn't working properly or if there's been an injury, and how that shame and a kind of apology can keep the body from healing. So as we go through all of these movements today, and as you drink the water with this intention of possibility and gratitude towards all the body parts, there's nothing to be ashamed of. It doesn't mean anything. It's just a condition that's on the healing journey, and we're going to move it along.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Greater understanding, greater comprehension gives us greater results. So this is why we take a little bit of time before we do our exercises to explain to you what's happening and why we're doing what we're doing, so that you can visualize while you're doing exactly what we're talking about. Here's the fascia I was talking about, where you can see on the top, the fascia is more gelatinous up here. You see how it's wet and moist?
It looks like a spider web sparkling with dew early in the morning.
This fascia is throughout your whole body, up and down your spine. We have a lot of fascia here in the lower back.
Right up your crack of your butt.
It goes in the crack of the booty. It's in your arm tissue. It's everywhere. Thank you, Sabrina, for the joke. It's down your IT band. It runs around the buttocks. It's, like I said, it's everywhere. And this is what it looks like when it's dried up, when it's brittle, when it's dehydrated, right? And it's not as flexible, and it causes a lot of chronic pain. So what we're talking about, what we're teaching, is the skill of using movement and hydration to bring your fascia back to life. The last little thing I want to show you real quick is that as we're going through the training, we have a framework. Our framework is to unblock the energy first with the movements. Then the second part of the framework is to unlock. There's an intelligence that lies within the body and in these energy brains that we'll talk about later today. And when you unlock the information that's inside the body, it becomes very helpful at helping you navigate your life or giving your body what it needs. The body has the ability to communicate with us, but not if it's numbed or we're numbing it or it's in a lot of maladaptive pain signals. So unblocking, you might want to write this down, unlocking. And then the third phase of our complete system is unleashing, which is more of like a creative process. Think more like along the lines of manifestation. How do I want to take this new fresh energy and inspiration that I have and use the focus of my mind to shape it? Energy can be shaped into what we would call the density or the physical world. Energy dictates the density. So if you have good energy and good focus, you can create a lot of amazing things. And here
isn't that what we're here for?
Isn't that what we're here for? Here is a slide just to get a little idea of unblocking, unlocking, and unleashing. And we're going to help you unpack this with the complete SATORI
on day 4
method on day 4. Thank you, baby.
I like to think of unblock like a sink where the water isn't draining out and there's something underneath the sink in one of the pipes that has a block in it. Or sometimes they don't call it a block. What do they call it?
In a pipe?
In a pipe. What do plumbers call it when your pipe is stuck?
I would call it a block.
Stopped up. Okay, it's blocked. And the energy, the water isn't able to flow. And what happens sometimes is you'll be here and in this 5 days, you'll experience some big shift and you're like, I'm unblocked. But you didn't know it, but just past that next kink was another block. So sometimes there's a few blocks, but you can't get to that second one that's causing the issue until you get rid of the first one. Or maybe it's the third one that's causing the pain. The first two are easy to get to, but once you get through them, you can address the
Bernadette
third one.
got it. It's a clog.
It's a clog.
I was going to say an impingement, but I think clog is the right word.
I think when I hired a plumber to come over, they said, "Is your sink impinged?"
I have located the impingement. Okay, shall we get
impingement?
We're going to get up and get moving. Here we go. Hydrate if you haven't already. And let's have some fun. We're going to be doing quite a bit of movement. As you heard yesterday, you can do these moves from a chair. Maybe not all of them, but most of them. Yeah. And stand if you can.
We always say the question to ask is, what can I do? If we're doing something that where you are on your healing journey doesn't work, just say, well, what can I do?
Oh, what can I do?
They all knew it was clogged.
I may ask for your assistance with this along the way. Okay, this is our Life Force School or dojo. This is where we teach hundreds of students every week from this space. And now there are thousands of you here enjoying this training sampler week. So I wanted just to bow in and say thank you for being here and welcome to the training. We are now going to start in the first position where we bring our feet together as much as we can. I'm fine. And then we stand for a moment and we do a check-in. This position and posture is known as Wuji. I'm going to go through this a little bit faster than yesterday because you can go back later and watch day 1 and catch up a little bit, okay? So those of you who are already tracking, you're on day 2. Let's stretch, open our chest. Follow along if you haven't done this yet. You can do this. Rotate your arms today a little bit more outwards and start to feel that fascia that we talked about squeezing and twisting, and then release. Shake your arms free a little bit. Now draw your chin in. That'll lengthen your cervical spine and feel like you have an imaginary hook on your head, lifting your spine tall to the heavens. This is known as Heaven Chi. And then feel simultaneously your spine all the way down to your sacrum bone dropping into the floor or the earth like an anchor being thrown off of a boat. And the chain links are going down as the anchor goes down. That creates the long spine. Gently feel that the tips of your ribs are attached to the tips of your hips. And you have some little suspenders here so that your body is not leaning back If we close the suspenders without doing a pelvic tilt, just a little closing and a light toning in the tummy, but not so much that it affects our breathing, we will create a neutral spine and a long spine. All right, beautiful. Wiggle your toes. Feel grounded. This is Earth Qi. In the practice of Qigong, the whole goal is to unify heaven and earth within human. Heaven and earth within human. So we can feel the energy from the heavens flowing to and through our body and the energy from the earth coming up and into our body. Now we also have those same energies inside of us already. They're known in the conversation of energy as the yin and the yang aspects of our energy. And you can see this reflected in your nervous system, where you have a sympathetic and a parasympathetic nervous system. You have both the highly stimulated aspect and the rest and digest and flow side. We need hot and cold, light and day, masculine, feminine energies to be balanced within us. When you balance heaven and earth energies within you, yin and yang, your body will be healthy and thrive. That's some philosophy to be aware of while we train. Let's stretch again. Breathe in through the nose, squeeze your legs a little bit, squeeze your fingers, open your palms, breathe out through your mouth. Soften your knees. I'm going to step back a little so you can see that my legs are opening about as wide as my shoulders. And I'm going to now today just sort of shift from the left to the right, kind of flow my body and let everything just relax. One of my Tai Chi teachers, Tai Chi is a type of Qigong, it's a martial application of Qigong. He used to say to me, let your muscles feel like ripe fruit hanging from a tree. So imagine plum, juicy fruit, just so ready to drop. There's no tension, just relax. And then he would say to me, relax. And I would say, I am relaxed. He says, relax again. Relax twice as much. So bounce and shake. This was one of the first things we did yesterday. This is a Qigong exercise that helps to open up the energy pathways. It helps to relax the muscles. It'll stimulate the fascia tissue that supports the meridian pathways. Meridians are energy channels that flow through the body. There are 12 of them, 6 on each side of the center line of the body, and they are coordinated up with organs, and they are very, very important to unclog them. Keyword unclog. So we're bouncing and shaking. We're also helping to move the lymphatic system, which is a part of our immune system. By bouncing up and down like this, there are little gates inside your lymph vessels that only open when you bounce. And when they open, they clear stagnant toxins and pathogens from the body faster. Okay, this is our check-in position. If you recall from yesterday, and if you're new, here you go. Bend your knees slightly. Relax your tailbone down like you're sitting on a high stool. Feel roundness through your arms. A little space under your armpits. Remember to draw your chin and lift your head. That creates the long spine. Now place your hands on your belly and breathe. Put a little bit of light pressure on the belly or on the solar plexus and see if you can feel some gentle movement here. Think of this apparatus of the diaphragm moving up and down. That big muscle, it's a long sheet of muscle that domes up and pulls down to pull the breath in. Think of it like a pump in a swimming pool. And if we had a swimming pool and water was in the pool, if it wasn't circulating, it becomes stagnant. So your breath is a big part of the circulation system. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Remember the sound. That sound goes into the auditory system and it tells the brain all is well and to relax and enters you into that side of the nervous system known as the parasympathetic. Breathe in again. On this next exhale, pull your belly button in and slightly up and see if we can purge stale air out of the lower lobes of the lungs. Let's do one more. And last one. All right, time for swinging arms. The hands come up, they swing down, we bend the legs, we arch the spine slightly. We're doing it slow at first. Out the mouth, in through the nose. The strong breath through the nose helps to stimulate the production of nitric oxide, which gets more of the oxygen molecules into your tissues. If you feel lightheaded or dizzy, please stop. And if you're able to go further today, please join me. We're going to go. 4 more. Do your level. Last one. Now take a big breath up and hold it for a moment. This is a breath retention. This is to help us increase our respiratory capacity. Every day that you train and you increase that, release your arms, let them float, take a breath when you're ready. You will be building your breath tolerance and your ability to be more efficient in breathing. Now check in again. Why do we check in? There are 3 P's in the Satori Qigong system. The first is to do something that primes your body. Bouncing, shaking, swinging, prime. The second is to go into this standing integration and process. We often think of processing as using our brain. Let me pay attention. What's happening? Oh no, it's still hurting. Oh, that feels. We don't want to be in this brain. Processing we want to do with the brains inside the body. There's one here, the brain of your belly. This one is the brain of your being, and we call this the brain of your brain. This is an energy center or an energy brain that can feel, it can process information. It's the master sensory system in the body. Think of all of the instinct that lives within your gut instinct. There's a brain here. Listen to how you're feeling. Feel the rhythm of your breath. Feel the calming and the recalibrating of the body instrument. And then the next one is the master feeling center, where you're actually able to process emotion. Sometimes emotion comes up while we're doing Qigong and we're feeling a release of some angst, some anxiety that was issues trapped in the tissues, and it's moving and we don't want to block it. We're like, oh no, I'm feeling something. It's like a river. So imagine right now energy flowing through your body. So let's try this. Breathe in and up. This is the movement called come to center, but we're using it as a centering exercise right now in the middle of our practice to feel a river of energy from the heavens pouring down upon our body and moving through us and washing clean negative emotion, and then go back to standing. So think of emotions as your ability to read your energy system. I'll say that another way. Emotions are how we understand how our energy is doing. So when you feel a certain emotion, it's a clue to what's going on with your energy system. More on that later. Very important concept to understand. So far we've done bouncing and shaking. We've done swinging arms. Now we're going to do tapping. Full body tapping, Pai Sha. Let's go. Up the arm, down the arm. I've got lots of new things to show you today, so I just wanted to build upon this because there's a sequence. We mentioned sequence earlier. I showed it to you very briefly when we started today. SATORI is a sequence, and it's how we practice our energy arts. It incorporates physicality, spirituality, and the law of creation, using our mind to shape energy into things. Under the armpit, down the waist. It's a holistic, comprehensive system. And it's so fun to learn it all. Okay, all around the lower dantian. Get on your hips. Now let's get the buttocks and the legs. The system starts with the physical body. One leg only. Here we go. Up and down. Now bounce and tap around your knees. Get the blood to flow into the knee. Other leg. Around the knee again. If anything I show you bothers you, please trust your body and do what feels right to you. Remember, Sabrina and I are not doctors or physical therapists. We're showing you techniques for movement and health and vitality. You must always check in with your experts and specialists as to what's right for you, and trust your intuition. So we're tapping on the soft tissue around the kidneys and the adrenals, and we're rubbing our knuckles in now to stimulate and relax the lumbar and open an area, an energy gate back here called the gate of life, the Ming Men. Now we're tapping on the sacrum bone, lightly. You could use one hand if that's easier. A lot of energy coils up in the base of the spine. We're helping to liberate it. And now we're targeting the energy to flow to the top of the head. Tapping on the crown. That's a chakra or a gate in Qigong. Chakras are called gates. And all around the brain, stimulate. So that was priming. Now we're processing. Our feelings, our emotions, our sensations allow us to know what's taking place. We don't have to understand here. It's just a listening skill. Qigong is the art of listening. Now, you may be wondering, Tristan, you said there were 3 P's. What's the third one? I'm
Yes.
glad you didn't forget.
They're all asking.
What is it? That's called an open loop, by the way. It wasn't intentional. The third P is perception. Processing is like that time when you put a new thing on your computer and the wheel is showing you that it's loading, or a little bar, and then it goes ding. You're now ready to use it. You'll get a moment like a little ding. And that's when you perceive something. You gain some insight, or it tells you move to the next exercise. And now we have processed and perceived. It is time to squeeze with the dynamic tension and relaxation, using the choo-choo breath, and relax. Remember the sponges, how we talked about squeezing them to get more of the water into the tissue? Well, that's what we're doing right now. Let's go again. We're creating a full body tourniquet. Breathe in. Start bleeding the breath off. Let's squeeze. Your core, your arms, your glutes, your legs, even your face. Pull your shoulder blades back in the back and relax. Open your feet. Sit down if you feel at all dizzy. We just primed again. Are you getting it? Now we're going to process. What do you feel? You have this beautiful interior, this landscape. You can actually, with Qigong, go inside your body. You can feel your bones, your muscles. You can feel your organs. I'm not saying you feel them right now, but in time, your awareness expands so much. This is an internal art. And not only can you feel all of that, you can feel energy. You can feel energy pathways. You can feel energy centers. And you can learn what to do inside, like an energy gym, how to work them all out correctly. That's what we're doing. Okay, very good. We're going to move on into some mobility. But before we do, how's everybody doing? Go ahead and pop in the chat. Take a couple of quick notes, drink some more water, and then I'll take you into the next series, okay?
While they write in the chat, could you explain what you mean by relaxing your tailbone down?
Sure. $5. Just kidding. I cannot believe how much more energy I am feeling, says Elizabeth. Amen. And it gets bigger. Okay, watch. The high stool analogy.
That's actually Betty.
If you had a high stool, like it would be up here, rather than going like this and tucking, using your muscles to tuck and drop, it's a feeling of just like if you were sitting down on a chair, it's a feeling of dropping your butt a little bit like that. That's the sitting. So you engage your quad muscles here a little, and just that much. It's like a little sit. And you might even want to wiggle your butt and relax these muscles through here so you're not hiked up like that, right? As cute as it looks, it's not a tucking or a tightening, because that would block the flow of the chi here and the breath. So from here, wiggle, drop. It's a feeling of sitting, okay? And it will, so the idea here is your spine is an energy highway, right? So we want to have in our Tai Chi, Qigong type exercises, not all, but a lot of them, when we're working with the energy rising, we want that spine to be as nice and long as possible. A lot of us have a lot of curvature in our spine. The energy's still going to move. We just do the best that we can to help facilitate the flow of the Qi. You can use intention to move Qi through some pretty crooked stuff. Don't worry. Even my body was so messed up and my MRIs and things showed scary stuff, but I was able to move my body again and get to full mobility and do all the things because of knowing how to move the Qi. Okay, let's continue. Feet shoulder width apart. Your joints are like junctions, okay? And we're going to get into those, but I feel like Sabrina has something to share.
Well, just for the people watching the replay who don't get to see all of these amazing comments, people are saying they feel calm but ready to move at the same time, not anxious. I really love that comment because I relate to it. And Jenny says she's loving hearing the reason why, because when you know why, it all makes more sense. And Betty says, I just can't believe how much more energy I'm feeling. And Linda says, I had a day off and I get to join live because I have so much energy after doing the replay of day 1. And people they're just really feeling energy, but like a happiness to the energy as well.
Well, that's you reading the emotion of the energy. So that's what I was sharing earlier. Sometimes when people look at our system, they say, where's emotion? And if you look at the infinity, and the more you study it, you'll see that emotion is everywhere. It's not just in one compartment. Emotion is energy, and it's how you're reading it. Okay. So thank you for the comments. When you see me do this, it's like a little heart thump. It's just like, I'm so grateful. I'm honoring what you just shared. I'm feeling it in my heart. Okay, your joints. So a little comprehension before the movements. Your joints are junctions. So the limbs of the body have the energy pathways in them, which is where we're heading. So if you think about working from the end in mind to get the goal, what you need to understand is that in order to get the energy to flow, I have to clear any interference along the way to getting my goal. So some of the interference is the tissues. The muscles in the fascia are too tight, blocked, they haven't been exercised in a while, and we need to get those tissue open. Kind of like gardening analogy. If you want to have a beautiful garden, you have to go in and you've got to pull out the weeds and till the soil, right? Get it all nice and mixed up. Then we add the seeds and the water, right? So now we're going to start moving into, we're going to do a little bit more weeding with the joints, and then we're going to get into watering. Once the water has been spread through the garden, we turn it off and we let it soak, right? We let it soak down inside. This is the journey of Qigong. So the energy is going to soak into the tissues and into the bones. And then we're going to grow our flowers in a beautiful tree, okay? Like a Bodhi tree. All right, so the joints, wrists, elbows, shoulder. 3 in this limb, and therefore 3 in this limb. Hip, knee, ankle. These are the main joint junctions. Now, in order for energy to flow through this limb like a garden hose, if we have a block in the junctions, we're not going to get a full flow. We're going to get energy backed up on one side and depleted on another. Make sense? So we need to mobilize the joints. Circling is the way we do it, and that brings fresh synovial fluid. It's a type of a lubricant fluid that helps to create a little more shock absorbency inside and between the joints. It opens the space in the joints a little bit more so the energy can move through them. So here, I'll give you an analogy. Better yet, I'll give you a show and tell. Let's say this is a knee joint or an elbow joint, okay? There's my elbow. Now, let's use this yellow-green ball as the idea of blood flow and qi. If there's a blockage in the joint, it's not going to come out. But if we tap, bounce, squeeze, shake, and move the joint, it'll come out. Look, it's a magic trick. So we're going to circulate the joints so that it doesn't get blocked and the qi can flow through. Okay? And there's many ways to do this. We're going to start with physical, and later we're going to go energy. Joint junctions are also little cavities that we can build up qi in. It's pretty cool. Okay, so we'll start with the wrists. So what are we doing? We're circling them both, mirroring the movement in both ways. Now, while you do these moves, maintain that long spine. And maintain the pump. The breath is the pump, like in the swimming pool. Now we'll go into the elbows. Keep the fists close together. I'm leaning forward so you can see how the arms are acting as a ball and socket joint. But we're moving and circulating. We're getting rid of tightness, calcification that can happen in joints. And we're bringing that synovial fluid and the ability to move the qi. So those two are pretty easy. Now we're going to get into the shoulders. This is a big needle mover because when the shoulders are tight, the neck gets tight. So I don't move the neck until I move the shoulders first. It's a 4-point movement. The arm goes out a little bit in front and a little bit out to the side. You see that? It's forward, but not straight forward. And it's side, but not straight side. It's half and half. And it's not up here and it's not down here. It's half and half. So that's a 45-degree angle to the side and the front. That puts the shoulder in the right position to get the most mobility and massage. When you circle your joint junctions, you're also massaging the tissue that connects from one side of the joint to the other. That orientation of that tissue, it's got little tissue fibers that are needing to be massaged. So I'm going to go up and down. They're intrinsic muscles, and they get tight. And so we're going to move them. And here's what we're doing. We're breathing. See how it's going up and down? And I'm not recruiting other muscles like my torso or my neck or my bicep. You see how that's recruiting other muscles? I'm isolating that motion up and down.
You should be doing this with him.
You don't pull your head in to create the technique. We're trying to bring the the shoulder to the jawline. We're not doing that. We're maintaining our structure and just moving that part. And then we want the arm to go a little longer. It's called distension. And then draw the chicken wing, part of your shoulder blade, backwards. Out and in. And look what we're not doing. Or this. The body's smart. It'll use other muscles to get the job done. We are isolating. Do you see how we're only using the muscles in the shoulders? Now, you might not be able to find those muscles right now because you may have something known as sensory motor amnesia, which means the muscle tissue has been tight for a long time. We're going to help open that up with the tapping and other things and this. And then over time, that motor pattern between the brain and the body is going to come back online, and you're going to be able to move it again. Okay? But do the best you can. Now watch, we're going to take those 4 directions, up, down, out, and back, and make a circle. So it looks like this. And breathe. Now you may hear some little crunchies when you do this. That's known as crepitus. But that's the weeding that we want to do. We're removing adhesions. Can you see what we're doing? Both directions from the side. And make sure you don't hold your breath. And if you have pain and you start wincing or grimacing or glitching, then go slower and smaller. And keep breathing.
And why might they feel something in their neck when they do that?
You might be doing too much. There's a point in the brain.
Repeat the question.
So why might you be feeling a little tightness in your neck? Sometimes, every part of our body has a memory. And the brain and the body are working together. They have signals, relay station signals going back and forth. If we trigger a reactive pattern, a tightening, or trip a part of the nervous system, like fire it goes, oh, I don't like that, right? When you guard or grimace or tighten, it's a guarding, protecting mechanism. If we trigger that, it can cause that reaction that some people are talking about. So what we have to do is gently brush up against it, but don't trigger it. So the key is to keep the long spine, the information highway, move slower. Breathe. Because what's the opposite of an exhale? A tighten, a tighten, a tighten. And when we get hurt, we hold our breath and we lock it down. So reversing that with the breathing and the slower movement starts to train the brain that it's safe. And then the body and the brain start to re-sync up. And we unwind those maladaptive signals. Let's try the other side.
Will you
up,
talk
down.
about the crunching being good?
The crunching can be. If it hurts, then it's not good. Listen to your body. Talk to your specialist. Out, in, out, in, out, in. Now this side, up and down and around. And breathe. Shoulders can be a little tricky, so be patient with yourself and go the other way. But this movement that you're learning, it's a shoulder cam, is one of the best things you can do, in my opinion. It certainly has been for me, for shoulder mobility and health. Now, the advanced version. One up, one down. See how my neck isn't moving? I'm not crunching my neck at all. I'm just moving my shoulders. Now, one forward and one back. There's a little turning, just a little bit. Try not to do this. Why? Because we're looking to isolate those tight tissues. Don't recruit your biceps. And you can come back and watch this video and learn this, because this is where we're going. Notice my spine and my hips aren't moving and my neck isn't moving. I'm just moving these two wheels. You see that? I'm just moving the shoulder wheels. So I showed you how to do it. Up, down, out, back, circle, circle, same other side, then both sides. I want to move on because there's more techniques to show you. But here's the advanced. Get the whole body involved. And you take this sucker to the dance floor. You see I'm moving my ribs now and smiling. Okay, and moving my hips. Go the other way.
I'm feeling a little John Travolta over here.
I tell you, that opens your body up like nobody's business. Oh, shake it out. Good job. Let's process. See how you feel. We'll come back to your neck in a moment. I want to relax this area. Let's move to the hips. One of the things that we love for hip mobility is using the imagination like you're inside a big wooden barrel, and you move your hips to the edge of the barrel, the side, the back, and the other side. And we're going to get some shares in a moment about those shoulder exercises. Front, side, back, side. Now watch this. Whatever way your hips go, your head moves the other way. So my head goes back as my hips go forward. My hips go this way, my head goes this way. It's the opposite of the hips. Hips go back, head goes forward. Hips go over here, head goes over here. Back, side. And you see how the head's moving? And now we're just moving the hips. The knees swivel and bend a slight amount. Keep the legs straight. So you're massaging up inside your hip sockets. And the outer blade of your hips, the greater trochanter, go the other way. This will start to break up the crepitus and calcification. If you don't use it, you lose it.
And loosen the back.
This is so good for the lumbar. Now to take this into a little bit more advanced for the lumbar, we'll do an infinity. These are hip mobility movements that you do find in Qigong. There are motions that we do where we're mobilizing the hips, like in cloud arms, for example. It's just a loosening here, okay? So I've got those circles and the eights. Practice them on your own time. Here's the last one I'll show you for now. Bend your knees up and down, just so tiny little bit from the side. Down and up, just tiny. Now put your hands over your knees and kind of rub them and tell them you are strong, you're healthy, you're safe. Especially great for anyone that has some tightness in the knees or some old reactive patterns. You can move them in circles. Now you can move your legs as you go up and down in little circles, like that. Keep breathing. Now we are bending forward on this one, and go the other way, out and in. And over time you'll be able to get into nice deep in and out. Can you see the level of mobility that you can build over time? Over time. There are two more that we'll do, but Sabrina's going to give you a demo or something.
No, I just wanted to say that just some of you are saying in the chat, that's so exhausting, it's achy. Well, just think about if you have lost the ability to do this, right, which you can tell structurally the body should be able to do that, but we just haven't done it because the body, the brain is so smart, it always tries to find the way to do things with the least amount of energy. I'll give you an easy example. If you wanted to work this outer hip, you could do it by lifting a leg to the side, like holding onto a bar, right? I'm in high heels, so, okay? But the brain will say, oh no, just tip over. That's easier. Just kind of lean over. And then that muscle will forget how to engage as an isolation. So part of what's happening right now where it feels awkward or you might feel uncoordinated or it's like, oh, this is really hard or stiff, is a brain-body connection that hasn't talked to each other about this subject in a long time. So it's getting to know each other. Sometimes I'll do a move and somebody will say, well, my body doesn't do that. And I'll say, it does. You just don't know how to tell your body to do that yet. and then train your body to do that. So it's totally fine if that felt exhausting. It's kind of exciting because it means you were using the muscles in ways that you haven't.
Thank you so much. That was so clear. You don't have to do all of the moves we're showing you right now also. You just gently work your way up to them. But there's a reason we're showing you these. So we talked about these joint junctions. We're teaching you Qigong. So energy flowing through the limb. It's got to be able to move through those junctions. So if they're a little bit tight, these moves are to help you open them up. So we did the shoulder one. We did the elbow and the wrist in the beginning. We got into the hip junctions a little bit with the movements and the knees. And for the ankles, you can keep it nice and simple. I'll go back further so you can see. Just roll up and down through the ball of the foot and move the heel up and down and just help mobilize. And if you're sitting, put your toes on the floor and just try to lift your heels up and down, okay? Or standing as well with both. Now we've helped affect each of these junctions. We've got the central line. Think of it as the transmission in a car. That's your spine. So now we're going to awaken the spine with a gentle spinal roll. You can do this sitting as well. If you're in a chair, you'll just roll your hands down your thighs. You'll come back up, and then I would encourage you to reach up and stretch and open your torso, and then come back down. At some point when your spine becomes awake and more activated, you can come off the chair and stand for a moment and then sit back down. Okay? Now let's, for those of us that would like to do this standing, watch how we do it. We're going to relax our head down and actually round our spine ever so slightly. And we're going to use our hands for stability and support so we're safe. And we're going to roll down. Sabrina will do it in the chair next to me so those of you sitting can see what it would look like. Okay? All right. So we're going to slide down. Let the head go. I'm keeping mine up for speaking into the microphone. And don't overdo it. Just go to wherever's comfortable. Now roll up. You can even walk up with your hands. Unless you're feeling pretty athletic already, you can pull your hands back or above your head and open your chest. So this is the spine in the torso. Now we're going to affect the upper all the way to the lower and roll down again. Let your head go. Relax, breathe out. Let your body hang. Let the weight of your arms and your head's actually pretty heavy. Let it stretch your cervical spine. Bend your knee if you're standing, then walk your way up and see if you can pull your belly button in and up and roll up your spine, vertebra by vertebra, and then stretch and open your arms a little higher. We're going to go down lower this time. Let your head go first. All the way down. Now remember that image of the fascia earlier? All that picture of the white tissue? We're going to bounce here lightly and just help to lengthen and open that fascial tissue. Let your head go. The bouncing helps to rebuild that elastin inside the fascia and the muscles becoming more pliable. Now we're going to roll up, and this time we're going to reach up. Breathe out. And breathe in. Last one, we'll go all the way down and all the way up. And try not to use anything to help. Little bounce. Roll up. Breathe in. On this one, we're going to breathe in. Fill and hold. And come into our check-in. You can do this sitting, palms out by your side. We just did a priming. Now we process. It's good to do a process in between each move so you can understand and sense the benefit that you got. And certain moves are going to be more apropos for you at this time, or depending on the day and the time and what's going on. So you're learning to navigate which exercises are best for me right now. I hope that that one served you well. I know that we have a lot going on here that we've shown you. I still want to teach you how to pull the chi inside your body. We're going to come up real quick and check in and do our third set today before we finish. Okay, so how are we doing? Okay, I will teach you in the next few minutes how to start pulling the chi inside with circulation techniques.
And maybe kick off tomorrow with circulation too.
I can do a lot more. I'll teach slow flow and standing tomorrow. Now, sometimes, when you're standing and you might be like, I don't feel anything, that's actually this part still looking, and that's okay. What you want to do is let that go and don't even worry about it and just be present. Don't try to feel. Sometimes our feeling apparatus is just, it needs a little bit of time to come online. And so we just be patient with it and breathe. Focus on your breathing. Smiling, work on smiling. Be trusting that you're doing the right thing in the right way, and it'll start to come. Regarding feeling some uncomfortableness in the neck, there is something important to understand about when energy starts moving again or blood that's been blocked starts flowing. It's a little uncomfortable. Have you ever slept on your arm and woken up in the morning and not been able to feel your arm? It's almost like somebody else's arm, because the circulation was cut off for so long, and have you ever had to lift it and move it? And it was like, and then you feel the blood coming back. You're like, oh my gosh, this is so uncomfortable. That phenomenon can happen in another way when we start unblocking the body and getting fresh blood and oxygen and chi flowing through the body again. It's a weird thing. It's sort of like I took a step forward and I felt like I took 2 steps back. But then the next day, after the tissue has relaxed and the nervous system's recalibrated, you're like, yeah, but I'm so much more mobile today. And so just pay attention and look for the signs that you are making progress. Don't just reject it. Investigate it. Mm-hmm. Make sure we're not, I don't love the analogy. If someone's got a better one, it's like tossing the baby out with the bathwater. Be mindful of that.
Just looking in the chat, some of the comments about the neck. A lot of people don't realize that the neck is part of the spine. So as you're working various parts of the spine, which on those shoulder rotations, obviously you're working that upper spine, you will feel that the neck muscles are also being affected. And when you're working the lower spine, the spine goes, the information highway, all the way up to the top back of the head, all the way down to the tailbone. That's where information is being communicated all the time. And oftentimes where you feel something is like a referred pain. And we can get more into this in a different day, but your knee might hurt because your hip is tight, but your hip is tight because your energy is off in your shoulder. So it's a great big picture. And then I know there's some of you who may be saying, I'm not feeling what all these other people are putting in the chat. And remember that analogy we talked earlier about the sink that had some clogs? We may be working on that first one, and your sensation, which is not the goal to have a sensation, the goal is vibrant health and vitality and healing, will happen later. So it isn't really about having a sensation or a miraculous experience, but a lot of people do.
And we have people here who are already quite mobile, and so they may be looking, going, how do I take this to the next level? So I'm going to show you a couple of things in the back, and I'm going to do some internal circulation Qigong. But we wanted to give you this, and I'm going to show you one more thing for your neck, so that we've kind of given you something for the whole spine and the limbs. So yes, open up the tissues of the body, do the bounce, shake, tapping, things like that. Start to circulate your joints, the joint junctions. Get the energy to a point where it can start to at least flow through them. Even if it's a little uncomfortable, you're going to be working out old issues from the tissues. It's not like a magic pill sometimes, or a shot and like the pain goes away, because it always comes back after a shot. But this is a gentle unwinding of tension from the tissue. It requires consistency. I had so many injuries in my shoulders and my neck from all these years of grappling that I did this on a regular basis until I healed my shoulders and my neck. So here's one for your neck. Just go a little bit forwards and backwards, like that. Remember to keep breathing, keep a long spine. I know these techniques work if you work with them. I'm 100%, for me, I know they work, and our students.
Thousands and thousands of students.
They do work.
People are writing wonderful things in the chat.
Forwards and backwards, and then gentle circles.
How good they're feeling.
Gentle. Breathe, and you're working out crepitus. If you get this right and you open your spine back up, the energy can flow from the root to the crown, and we can start getting into the more internal, emotional, higher consciousness practices. It's through the body.
Yeah.
The body is the opportunity to practice these energy awakening aspect. Not if you just focus only on healing the body, which is amazing, know that there's more. Okay, here we go. There's so much more.
Just follow along.
Follow along. The body's our friend, it's our teacher. It's the thing that gets our attention and puts us on a path. That's how we look at it. You know, pain can sometimes be grace in disguise. It's just how it works. Okay, so here we are in our standing position. We're going to open our feet a little wider to what we call soft horse stance, like you're riding on a horse. We're going to take our arms and bring them out, keeping our spine mainly straight. We're going to drop down towards the earth, and we're going to pull our hands up the front line, through the body, up through into the brain. Our palms are going to turn out, and we're going to open. So this is a technique sometimes called parting clouds. It strengthens your legs and your hips, but it also energetically circulates the chi from the root up to the crown. And then parting the clouds helps clear the mind and the distractions and expand your energy through your personal field, your auric field. So breathing in and up, all the way to the top, expand and open your ribs, and now feel and imagine that you're spraying energy, or like the color of these lamps, all around you. So this is a beautiful ancient Qigong technique, parting clouds, drawing the chi up. If you need to take an inhale and an exhale on the way up and an inhale and an exhale on the way down, that's okay. But if you've got the breath capacity, breathe in and up, breathe out. Keep your spine straight, breathe in and up, and let your arms float. Let's do 2 more. Here we go. All the way down. Up and then back all the way down. Last one. Strong legs, strong spine. Walk your feet in a little with what we call a shimmy. And now we're going to bring our hands out and slowly bring them in front of our lower energy center, known as the lower dantian. And this is called the accordion. So we're just opening the hands and letting them float through the air, in and out, playing the accordion like a musical instrument. Breathe in and the hands float up. Breathe out and the hands come together. So in authentic Qigong, once we open the body and the joint junctions, we want to start to build the energy in the interior of the body, in energy cavities. So this one is here in the lower belly. It's also known as the power center. Some of you may be feeling a little type of sensation between your palms as you're moving them in and out. We'll show you later how to really open that up. But in the beginning, the idea is just to float your hands in and out and breathe. Breathing in here and breathing out. Now when you breathe, can you breathe into your belly and then into your chest by opening your ribs and your lungs at the top? Breathe out. Now root down and rise up. So your body is moving up and down. Your hands are moving in and out. You're flowing with the breath. You're breathing into the belly and then into the chest. So you're getting a more full body breath. Breathe out. Breathe in. Now we're going to go for a full body breath. We're going to go down a little lower. We're going to breathe in 1, 2, and all the way up 3. And notice how much more breath capacity you have from your practice. Breathe all the way out. So you're hitting the 3 brains, belly, chest, and then all the way up into the head region. Breathe all the way out. 1 big breath. This is a full body breath. Hold it for a moment. Breathe out. 2 more. Full breath. And 1 more, and then 1 more exercise. Last one, up. And all the way down. And imagine now that you have a chi ball between your palms, and we're going to hold the ball And we're going to lift it up slowly up the front of the body, very slow. Lift it up into the brain, take it above your head, and then crest your hands forwards and let it slowly float down. Now, over time, what happens is energy builds between your palms, and you can feel it in your hands, and it feels like you're moving energy through your body. That's where Qigong starts to go from the physical body to the energy body. So stay with us here, because this is really an important bridge we're crossing. There are so many of the physical techniques that we can show you. This is a gentle sampler. But crossing this bridge into building the qi and moving it through the body that we've been preparing is the ultimate goal of the Qigong for your health. There's also mystical Qigong that's to raise consciousness. Day 3, tomorrow we'll be going into that sampler. So breathing slowly, taking as many breaths as you need, but over time you'll find that your breath capacity becomes so advanced that you can take one slow breath in and one slow breath out. Now let me give you one more thing to be aware of. This is called spinning the orbit. Imagine now that your hands are behind your body and you're lifting them up back here and you're pulling the qi up your back. This is the channel, it's a reservoir known as the dumai. Imagine you could even soften your eyes, you could even close them if you know the technique now, and picture and feel like your hands are pulling qi up your back. You want the energy to ascend. And then picture the energy cresting over the top of your head and then floating gently down the front. And move slowly and see if you can sense the auric field around your body. The slower you go, the more you feel it. Last time, breathing in, feeling your hands pulling the qi up your back. Remember, if you have that long spine, the drawn chin, the sky hook, the belly pump breath, all the things, the layered learning that we're doing, you will become a beautiful Qigong master over time. You just have to practice the right thing in the right way at the right time. Now let your hands come down in front of your lower belly, open your eyes, and just let them hover around that lower dantian area. The entry point is just below your belly button in the center of your body, is a small and later big energy vortex. Some of you may feel a tingling in the center of your hands. Those are energy gates opening up, known as the Lao Gong. Notice how my speech has slowed down. The movements have slowed down. This is bridging from yang into yin. This is the energy journey. We go yang is big, is fast, is strong. Go slower, slower, yin, yin, yin. Tomorrow we're going to go super yin. And then we'll come back to the beginning of Wu Ji. Now gently just sort of up and down with your hands, accordion them until the hands touch your physical body. And I know many of you are very sensitive to energy already, so you're probably feeling as if you're pushing qi, energy, into your belly where you want to store it. Now bring your hands onto the physical body and breathe, and you might feel some warmth in your palms. That's qi, and your hands become magnetized with Qigong, and you can draw that qi now into your belly. And we talked about each one of these energy centers being like a brain. This brain right here represents your relationship with yourself. Self-healing, connecting to a feeling of what do I need, what do I desire, and giving yourself permission to feel into what you need. Later, the energy rises up into the relationship with others at the heart center. And that opens our heart. But our heart will stay closed if we have survival triggers in this area. It doesn't trust the energy to rise up into it. So if you've been feeling like your heart is shut or blocked, or you've been holding on to sadness, grief, negative emotions for way longer than you would like, then heal this area first. I'm giving you sequence so you understand how to practice in the right way, in the right order. There's more to be done here. We'll be orbiting here. We'll be healing here and loving and breathing. This is a beautiful area to heal. For now, tonight, later, just breathe into your belly. Do a little bit of the Qigong we've shown you. Put your hands here. Know that all is well. Life force is on the way. And you will be back in your healthy, strong, empowered state. One hand on top of the other. I'm going to do a sealing to the session. The way that my hands are floating and moving are going up on the right side of my body, so the right side of your body, across the top, down the left side, but it's a small circle. That's how you close your session. Put all the weight on one leg. Bring your feet together all the way up with your arms. Breathe in. Let's center and align the energy gates. We're closing the session so nothing is left open. One more time. Smiling. The smile helps to bring the chi up into the heart, and then hands on heart. Touch your heart center with your palms. That's a reminder and anchoring that we want the energy to live here so that during the day we feel aligned to purpose. More on that on day 4. Okay, everybody, how did that last phase feel for you? I know that we're a little bit past our time, but we didn't want to leave anything out. So
Write in the chat what we spoke about earlier, and we'll read some of them for the people watching the replay. When we spoke earlier to declare what happened to you in the past hour, what did your body experience? What do you feel or know, or are you aware of, grateful for, appreciative of now that you didn't? And sometimes I think it's good we ask our students, like, use a whole sentence, not just one word, because when you ask yourself to form a sentence, you're actually asking yourself to ponder the question more deeply and to look more deeply inside. What has shifted? What am I feeling?
And if you felt the tingling in the chi, it's because you opened up the tissue and the joint junctions correctly. That's what helped you to feel that. So good job. Mm-hmm. Energy unlocked. Sore back along the spine is gone. That was from Tress. I love the last phrase, relaxing, says Prima. Awesome, dude. Thanks, Janet.
Jenny says, I feel cool and lighter and with the tingling. And then maybe I will ache a little later. If you're new to a certain movement, sometimes like 2 days later, you'll be a little sore. I like when I feel that because it shows me where I was working. Like if I get sore abs, I'm like, yes.
Glenn says, I cannot believe how much tingling there was. That's the energy pathways opening. We're just getting started. It's so good. John says, I don't have any clogs now, but I'm not Dutch, so I guess that's okay. I love the humor, dude. That's awesome. Lisa says, I feel so much more aligned. My body feels more balanced, crinkles and all. How does it get through an artificial hip? You know, everything can conduct energy. Everything can, but in your organic tissue, it's going to move around it.
Yeah.
And energy doesn't need physical tissue to move. Energy can move through pathways. The energy pathways aren't gone. Mm-hmm. They're still there.
Yeah. We have many, many students that have had hip replacements, knee replacements.
Beautiful feedback, y'all. That was exactly what I needed, says Mira. Finding the globe of energy, holding, directing it. Yes, that's called spinning the orbit. We did the accordion. We did parting clouds. Oh. We worked on our joint junctions. We did our fascia training, our balance shake, squeeze. We covered a lot of stuff. And tomorrow, we're diving into the standing meditations where we start to pull the chi into the organs for healing, into the bones. Bones are batteries of the body, so to energize the bones. And we'll go into sitting meditation practice.
And Susan Ramson is here. Hey, Susan, I miss you. Oh. She says, I feel more flexible. Energy is moving much better through my body. And now I understand better about why we are doing each move. And Deb says, I had a lot of head congestion and a runny nose, but my runny nose has stopped and I feel much better. I find that too. We actually taught in India for a few weeks in December. When we came back, I had a lot of respiratory issues that we had to breathe through, and that when I would do the movements, it's like everything was able to drain which felt amazing.
Thank you for your message, Ali. Yes, we definitely want to dive deeper into that lower dantian for healing. She's asking about the importance of that, and can we go deeper into that?
And Janet said my shoulder was stiff. Not only is the discomfort gone, but my hips feel alive. Apparently, they were very stiff, and I felt heat in my hands and very connected to the energy within and without me. Someone else said earlier, I've never felt like I was on the inside of my body before, which I thought was really, really cool.
There's this whole internal journey that takes place with this practice. Des says, when I was holding the energy ball at the lower point, the ball was almost as wide as my hips. And as I moved the ball up, it got a little smaller. I felt like I was dripping in energy. Yes, the ball will morph. It'll grow, and you can use it for healing yourself, others, your pets. There's a lot that we have in store for you.
Mama Rita, you can open your bedroom door if you want.
Tomorrow, when we go into the internal meditation, we're slowing the brain waves down even more. So we've been pretty engaged in our brain waves. We've been in beta, we've been in alpha. There's degrees of these ranges of the brain waves. We started dropping in a little bit to lower alpha. We'll go even deeper. That's where you start to get to the subconscious layer within your body where the old habits live. So, stay on track with this. This is, like we said, a real program, and we promise to continue to deliver the riches. There's so much more coming. We're unfolding a sequence.
So much more coming?
So much more coming. So the sequence has just begun. We're just getting started, okay? So we look forward to being with you tomorrow. Okay, we have a friend coming to say hi.
Kingsley!
I think...
well, they're asking in the chat. Those of you who have been on a few energy detox and reboot, you know that we had two just the best dogs ever, Bentley and Winston, and at 14 and 16 they both transitioned, and we got another new dog who's not quite old enough to stay in the room with us because he eats all the cords and everything still. So my parents are downstairs and they watch him. So I was trying to get him so I could show you.
I guess he'll make an appearance tomorrow. All right, so hydrate, get a good night's rest. Thank you for being here. We look forward to journeying on tomorrow at the same time.
Is there anything special they need for tomorrow?
If you have a favorite meditation blanket, bring that. Bring your journal. We might do a little bit of journaling tomorrow. We're going to continue to build on these techniques. So we'll do a routine that pulls in some of what we've been doing already to prepare us for the standing and sitting meditation, okay? And lastly, Kingsley would like to say hi and goodbye. This is our little boy. He's just over a year old. Hi, buddy boy. You wanted to come and say hi? Took you a minute to get here. Were you taking a nap? He was with grandma taking a nap. All right, everyone. That's it for now. Much love. Until tomorrow.
Screen chat. Look at Joe. Hi.